I get dropped for the right back in. I'm gonna fight this shit. I'm gonna take this risk and let my pride get dropped for the right back in. Cause it's no question, I've been through worse, I can handle this.
What's going on, guys? TheRipped1 here, coming at you with FNC. And with the tournament coming up, we figured it would be nice of us, because we're such nice guys, to go ahead and put together a little tip video. Most of it's common sense stuff, but some of the stuff we see is not used in the general fight night population or the way people do things. So we figured we'd help out any way possible because the competition is so stiff. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it over to FNC and take it away, man.
As usual, guys, it's always important whenever you go into a fight to go in expecting to go the distance. The punch stats and the way the fighter template is set up isn't really geared for you getting knockdowns. I mean, not that it's not possible, not that it can't possibly happen if you need to teach that man some defense, but it's 10 rounds and there's not a lot of punching power that can be expected. There's no differentiation in the way that the fighters are set up, so make sure you go in there with the correct mindset. Make sure you go in there expecting to go 10 or 12 rounds or whatever the rounds may be for the tournament.
Also keep in mind that even if the punch stats weren't the way they are, you are going up against some of the best that Fight Night Champion has to offer. So don't come in with that nonsense to begin with. There ain't gonna be no easy fights, no easy knockdowns, none of that stuff. But going into the next one, most importantly, I feel anyway, is to enjoy yourself. People take this seriously. I know I do to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, it's a video game, and if you're not gonna have fun doing it, why even bother?
Exactly. I mean, most times when you hop into an online match, you expecting to stress yourself out because of the exploits and many different things that could possibly go on during an online ranked match, whether it's connection problems, lag issues, or anything of the sort. But this is more like a private kind of thing, and whoever wants to join or sign up at the time. So just go in there expecting to have fun, even if you're not the best fighter and that's maybe prohibiting you from joining. Just think, I can go in and have a great match, or I can go in against an opponent who's either really skilled at the game, just playing the game the correct way that it's designed, and just being able to play the game the way that it's designed should be enough enjoyment for you already. So, whether you win or lose, or this guy is way better than you or he isn't better than you in any sense, just think that you're going to go in there and have a great time.
Also, mainly why I wanted to be a part of this, and I think some of it why FNC brought this to be is because so many of us have gotten so much enjoyment from Fight Night Champion, and a lot of us, myself mainly, have gotten subscribers from it. So I feel it's a way to pay tribute to Fight Night Champion for the success that I've gained through it. Going into the next one, another important one, you don't want to give away your complete arsenal. This is moving into actual fight stuff, not just mindset before you go into the fight. But don't give away your arsenal in the first round. Don't come in and just go gung-ho showing your opponent everything that you're going to do the whole fight in the first round. Leave something for the later rounds, leave some tricks up your sleeves. Because like I said before, earlier in this video, you're going up against some guys with skill. So you're going to want to do everything that you possibly can to give yourself, the best chance at winning.
Yeah, definitely when you show your entire arsenal in the first round, it allows your opponent to make adjustments within the next 2 or 3 rounds if you follow a certain format, or if you go into a fight expecting with a certain type of game plan. So if you go ahead and you deliver all the combinations that you have set in your arsenal, or you do all your tricks and strategies in order to try to claim your dominance early on in the fight, it could end up leading everything that you know and everything you know how to do to being adjusted and it being taken away from you. So it's very important that you go in there and start off not so much conservative, but like I said in previous videos and many other videos, that there's several ways that you can go in there and show you, or figure out what it is that your opponent likes to do. You can be very conservative, or you can go in there and apply pressure and see what it is that he likes to throw, what kind of combinations he takes, what styles it is that he takes well to, which ones he doesn't take well to. So it's very important that you don't go into the first round or the first 3 rounds giving away your entire arsenal.
Also, another one I think is good is just to be unpredictable. A lot of us do YouTube, and a lot of us have spotted each other before, so don't come in with the same stuff that you used, you know, the same fight over and over and over again. It's like I said, I'm gonna pound it home to you guys. You're going up against some beasts. So, you know what I mean, just keep them tricks up your sleeve, keep something, you know, change your style up, experiment with different styles, and, you know, do whatever you can to give yourself the best chance.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you look at being unpredictable, most of the time you just think about going in there and punching. And when it comes down to punching, it's very important to be unpredictable, because if you go in there and you have a set timing or a set rhythm that can be easily picked up or detected, it'll lead to you getting countered a lot or getting hit with tons of power shots, or your opponent knowing what's about to come and is able to do some type of damage in return to you because of the fact that you was in there doing the same thing that you usually do. So for example, let's say I'm going in there jabbing, and I'm jabbing at a certain beat, like eventually they're going to be able to pick that up, and they're going to be able to sidestep you and counter you, or backstep you and counter you, move their head to the side, counter you, or do something in return to hit you before that. Or they already know you're about to go ahead and block again, so they'll be able to plug in more combinations or put something in between there. So try to be as unpredictable as possible in terms of your rhythm of punching, your ability to move around the ring, when you're going to come in for a punch, when you're not. That's just all part of being unpredictable.
Another thing you want to do is make sure that you're in the range for the punches that you're trying to throw. You know, I've lost a lot of fights, particularly against FNC, because he's one of the beasts that I know about using range to, you know, to throw your opponent off guard. If you notice that you're not landing shots, probably a good indicator that you're not in the right range to throw your punches. That's another great way, like in my jab tutorial. You know, use that jab, and if you're landing the jab, there's a good chance that you're going to land the punches that you throw after that. So just make sure that you're in the right part of the ring, or a right distance from your opponent, to be able to land your shots.
Yeah, definitely, like you said, the jab is also a good finder in order to figure out your range. I mean, you want to find your range early on, like we talked about in the first round. I mean, you can use the first round for that as well, as figuring out where's your range, when you're in range, when you're out of range, when your opponent is stepping in and out of range. That's also a good tip for you guys there. But in punching range, you have different types of punches. You have your jabs and straights, which is typically in one range, your hooks, which is typically in one range, and your uppercuts, which is typically in one range, one type of range. So make sure that you know which distance you should be at for each of those punches and when to deliver it. And when you're in those ranges, make sure that you go ahead and deliver those punches.
Alright, so let's go ahead and go into what you're going to do if you lose in the fight. If you come in and you're following all these tips, you're in the right mindset, you know, you're trying the right range, everything, you know, you're doing everything you can, but you're still losing. The most important thing is to remain calm. And at the end of the day, remember, this is a video game. You know, we all want to win. No man playing a fighting game wants to lose. It's an ego thing. Everybody likes to think they can fight. But at the end of the day, it is a video game, and this is for fun. And 9 times out of 10, getting frustrated and angry at yourself is just going to make you play worse in the long run.
Yeah, definitely leads to making a lot of mistakes when you aren't in a calm frame of mind. I mean, there's people on YouTube who tell you that all the time. Like, I've seen one guy who posts Madden videos talk about that all the time. People ask him, you know, why you don't get angry when, you know, the Madden BS happens to you? And he just says, you know, man, that's tragic. Or, you know, if that happened, it just happened. Just let it happen and move forward. Because there's so many mistakes that you can lead to, and things that you make sure, even when you go into the match or something's distorting you during the game, just make sure you're in a calm environment and that you're able to concentrate and focus. So as we talk about being calm, what are some things that you can do in order to make up for the fact that you're losing the fight?
One thing you could do is be aware of what your opponent is doing well and try to take it away from him. Say one thing, say if he's working your body really well, he's getting in them guts. Stay on the outside, use the jab, pop him with the jab as he's coming in, and, you know, just try to get away from him any way possible, to get away from those body shots. Basically anything that you can do to counteract what your opponent is doing well, try to do that.
Yeah, sometimes taking away an opponent's strongest weapons leads them to develop questions in their own head and figure out if what they can do best isn't going to work for them at all. I mean, if you can take away what a guy is doing best, it leaves you so many opportunities to do what you normally do well. Now you're able to use those things because what they're doing best isn't preventing you anymore from doing what you do best.
And another thing you want to do is make adjustments. Don't come in there with one game plan, because a lot of times people are going to adjust to what you do. So you always have to have, you know, multiple game plans. What happens if this guy does this, or what happens if this doesn't work? You know, just come in there and just something you can do when you practice. Practice different game plans. Practice on your inside game. Practice on your outside game. Practice in your center of the ring game. Basically just practice and come in with multiple game plans.
Yeah, you guys hear me preach this all the time on my channel. If you've been a subscriber from the beginning especially, that's something I expect you guys all to know and know how to do. Making adjustments on the fly, not always needing sometimes just to think about it, but you know, sometimes you can make an adjustment on the fly, something you notice from the game. Guys use your experience, because it's your greatest tool. It's your greatest tool in life, is just having great experience, or having a, you know, a vast amount of experience can always help you change certain situations around. I mean, if you let being in a bad mindset stop you from making adjustments, then it's just not going to be a good fight. And I think one of the most important things that you can do is look at your own style that you use. For example, I like to box a lot. I'm a technical kind of fighter. But, you know, if boxing isn't working for me, I'm not going to necessarily stop boxing because of the fact that he's doing something well to take that away from me. I'm going to make some adjustments to my boxing style in order to make that effective.
The next thing you want to do is do not be afraid to experiment. You know, even if you got multiple game plans and not working, remember that this is just a video game. That's another point I'm going to drive home, because some people be getting crazy with this, man. I don't want anybody killing themselves because they lost the match. So fight
over the bridge, man. Over the bridge for a match.
But yeah, don't be afraid to try new things, and you know, it'll help you in the long run. It's all experience. It's all about experience. If you lose, sometimes you gain a lot more from losing than you ever could winning.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at the first half of the fight, I mean, you can split this up. You got 10 or 12 rounds, man. There's a lot of rounds that can go into this fight. Even if none of your usual adjustments are working, you can take that time, even though you're losing. Maybe for example, if you go into a 10-round fight, you got 4 rounds basically to lose before you can find an adjustment that he won't ever be able to adjust with. And you can use, like, after you observed or did whatever you do in round 1, you can use those next 3 rounds to experiment and see what it is that makes him uncomfortable, what he doesn't like, what combinations work well against him. Even make up a combination that just comes off the top of the dome, and you can use that same experimented thing that you practice with just in the middle of the fight to go ahead and win you the rest of the other 6 rounds that you need in order to come back. So yeah, guys, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to go in there and try new things.
The next one is kind of a stamina tip. Stamina is key. You can have the best boxing game, inside, outside, do whatever you do the best. But at the end of the day, if you don't have stamina to put some power on your punches, it's not going to work for you. And here's a tip. If you get knocked down during the round, there's a good chance that you're not going to get that round back no matter what you do. So unless you need that point, unless it's like the 9th or 10th or 12th round and you need that point, or it's win or lose, take the rest of the round off. You know, use that time to observe your opponent, and most importantly, get some stamina back. And it works both ways. If you get the knockdown, if you score a knockdown, you don't have to do anything else in that round to take that round. It's all up to your opponent on that point. You know, take that time and just gain some stamina back. Let them come at you if they're gonna come at you stupid like, and let them waste some stamina.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, don't pull a Curtis Stevens. Believe in your defense. Believe you can come back, guys. If you get knocked down in a fight, whether it's real life or, you know, it's in this game apparently, you know, when you get knocked down, just take your time, recuperate, breathe. You know, it's like, okay, he knocked me down. That's a 10-8 round in his pocket. That's an extra round he doesn't have to win. And then say to yourself, okay, gloves up, footwork going. Let's play some defense. Let's play a little bit conservative here. You know, pop him with a few shots to keep him off of you. Pot shot him for the outside. Once you get knocked down, don't ever, especially after you got knocked down, just charge in. Because if you charge in, you already have half your health. You've already been hurt before. You're more susceptible to damage. Just back off. Take it easy. Even if it's at the beginning of the round, just take it easy and just relax. And look to improve on or adjustment you can make for the next round.
Our last tip, not our last tip because we got a bonus one after this, but if you're losing the round, it's a good idea to work the body, because even though you lose that round, you're getting that body work in, and you're wasting that stamina. And like I said, stamina is key to winning fights.
Yep. Always go down. Like, this is something I do all the time, man. Even if I'm losing the round, I got knocked down, it's time to go in there and invest in the body, because investing in the body allows you to be able to maybe catch a knockdown or get that knockdown back in perhaps around 8 or around 9 or around 10. You can go ahead and get a knockdown back just because of the fact that Dave said the stamina is depleted, and when the stamina is depleted, you're more susceptible to damage. Their punches don't hurt you as much, counter shots aren't as effective, the entire offense becomes stagnant. So being able to go in there and work the body when you're losing around, he may even be feeling confident. He may be feeling really good at that moment. Like, you know what, I knocked this guy down about 3 or 4 times. I've been beating him up all around. And then little by little, he's knowing that stamina recovery is like 3%, 1%, 5%, 6%. And the stamina is going from 100 to 85, down to 75. And it just keeps lowering. And yours is probably going to still be in a pretty good position. So work the body when you're losing the rounds, and body shots can also help you catch up in points in order to win rounds too, and it also sets up shots for upstairs as well. So don't be afraid to go in there and work the body.
Alright guys, that is our tips to help you guys get better before the tournament starts. One last thing we want to try and drive home is, whether you win or lose, practice good sportsmanship. At the end of the day, it's a video game. We're doing this to have fun and pay tribute to a great game. And you know, I've seen a lot of people lose a fight and end up losing a friend in the process. I would much rather lose a fight than lose a friend just because my ego got in the way.
Last tournament, it was not the greatest display of sportsmanship that I've ever seen. You know, there's been plenty of times, you know, there was things that were disputable, but you can handle things in a proper manner. I mean, respect is something that you should give to a person just for signing up or just deciding to respect the game that you love and like to play. So show them that same kind of respect outside of the match. And, you know, even you never know. You just saying good match to a person can lead to a great conversation. You can end up making a friend. Now, even if you haven't fought the person before, you could have a future sparring partner, somebody who can teach you something that you were struggling with and teach you an adjustment towards it. So practicing good sportsmanship is always important, guys.
Alright guys, that is pretty much it. I'd like to thank everybody for signing up. I wish everybody good fights, and come with your A game, because I can guarantee you I know FNC is, Relapse. I know everybody in here is coming to win. So like Finest said, don't pull no Curtis Stevens. Believe in yourself. You can do it. And this is TheRipped1VsFinest signing off. Thank you to FNC for doing this video, and thank all of you guys. Peace.